Hello, gentle viewers. This is Avindian, welcoming you to Pandemic. In Tabletop Simulator, Pandemic is one of arguably the very finest cooperative games ever designed. It is a game where we represent teams of researchers and scientists, and we're trying to cure not one but four diseases. So imagine 2020 times four, otherwise known as 8080. I've already finished setup. This particular mod doesn't have a scripted setup, but it does do certain things very well. One of which is add expansions. Now, normally, friends, you know that when I introduce you to a brand new game, I like to play it without expansions. But there is an official solo variant for Pandemic if you use the In the Lab expansion. Now, the great part about the Pandemic expansions in particular is that they're all modular, which means you can put everything in the game, or you can just put in one thing. And in this case, that's all I've done. I've taken base Pandemic, the game we know and love, and I've just happened to add the solo variant. You can also play Pandemic solo by simply having one player play multiple characters, and we'll probably end up doing that for a few of the other games I'm planning to show you in the coming weeks. But for now, I want to use the official solo variant because I've played a couple of test games with it, and it's actually pretty fun, and it's pretty smooth. So that'll be a pretty good time. So, in Pandemic, the diseases are represented by these cubes. The diseases are just colors. They don't have names, but you're free to choose them if you want to. And whenever a city gets more than 3 cubes, that causes what's called an outbreak, which then spreads a disease even farther and faster. 8 outbreaks and we die. The Earth is doomed. We are screwed. We also lose the game if we run out of cards in the player deck, or if any of these becomes empty and we cannot play a cube. And we have to. To win, we must cure all 4 diseases. Now, how do we cure diseases? Well, Pandemic at its heart is a set collection game. It is a game about collecting certain groups of things and then using those things to win the game. In this case, we need to collect city cards. And because I'm playing as the scientist, normally I would need 5 cards. Here I only need 4. So if I get 4 of the same color and take them to a research station and discard them, that is worth curing 1 disease, which then makes dealing with the disease that much easier. With all that said, let's talk about the basic gameplay. So, every turn, you can do up to 4 actions. You draw 2 cards. If you draw an epidemic, which is bad, you deal with that, and then you discard to 7 cards. You can never have more than 7 cards in your hand. Then you infect cities. But with the solo variant, we gain an extra action every turn. So let me see when the CDC action happens. After I infect cities to end the turn. Okay. And so basically the CDC gives me a little bit more flexibility and a second hand of cards. So I think we are in a good place to go ahead and start the game. So what are the 4 actions that you can pick from each turn? You can do any action as many times as you like, and they include moving between cities, like for example from Atlanta to Miami, or Washington, or Chicago. We have direct flights. I can discard any city card and fly to that city. I can charter a flight. I discard the city card I'm in, and then I can go anywhere I want. I can shuttle from one research station to another. I can build a research station. I can treat the disease, which lets me start taking cubes off the board. And finally, I can discover a cure. In the solo game, you do not use the share knowledge feature, but the rest of these cards you can. And note that I override this basic premise and I only need 4 cards to discard. Now, we are already between us on the way to getting there with the CDC having 2 blues and me having 1. So we're definitely going to want to consider that. So, what do I need to do this turn? Well, when I did my setup, Taipei, London, or Essen rather, and Sao Paulo are the 3 cities in the game which have diseases to worry about. But as the game progresses, we're going to infect more and more cities, more and more cubes will come out, and we'll have more problems to deal with. Now, I don't want to discard any cards this early in the game if I can avoid it. I want to keep them so we can start building up hands and have good things happen to us. So I think the first thing I'm going to do this turn is I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And just like that, if Sao Paulo comes up again, which it won't right now, but it will later, we no longer have a fear of an outbreak. It's still pretty bad, but it's manageable now. And that, I think, is an excellent start to our turn. So we've done our 4 actions, just like that. And now we draw 2 cards. And we get a 3rd red card, and we get a blue card. Now, it's a shame the CDC doesn't have a red card, or we could cure our first disease. But they didn't, so we'll just have to accept that. And then the final step of a normal turn is we flip over this many cards. In this case, it's 2. And each one gets a cube. So we have Buenos Aires and a Delhi. And the last thing we do, besides finding Delhi, right there, is the CDC now gets to do an action. And it can choose to give me a new roll, to move me. I can swap cards with it. It can draw a card, or it can discover a cure. Now, when the AI discovers a cure, I'm going to lock this down so I don't accidentally delete it later. If the AI discovers a cure, it needs to do 5 cards. So ideally, I want this to feed me with cards. I am in a yellow city, so I'd have to give them a yellow card, so I can't do that. Instead, I'm going to tell the AI, go ahead and draw a card. And it's a pretty sweet... it's a pretty great event. Now, events can be played at any time, and they offer certain advantages. This one is pretty exciting. It stops chain reaction outbreaks. This is going to be a very helpful card later in the game. Right now, not such a big deal. Okay. So it's my turn again, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And now Essen is no longer a ticking time bomb, which is brilliant. I draw 2 cards, and I got a yellow card, and I got Forecast. Now, I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards. And I think, rather than discard a card and lose it, I'm going to find another place to put a research station. Let's put it in Karachi. So I discard the event, and I get a new research station. And research stations both offer a way to get around the board faster, but most importantly, offer a place to do a cure. I then infect 2 cities. Ho Chi Minh City and Chicago. And finally, the CDC gets an action. Now, I am in a blue city. I can give them my blue card and take a card from them, if I wish to. And there is some merit to trying to feed the blue cards to the AI, because then I can get 2 cures in 1 turn with the CDC's help, of course. But I think, or do I have it draw another card? No, I'm gonna try to start feeding it blue cards. So I'm gonna give them the Montreal card, and I'm gonna take the Tehran card. And I think that is a good end to this first turn. Second turn, sorry. So, I infected 2 cities, the CDC helped me out a bit, and now I take an additional turn. There's still Taipei. Taipei is still an issue, and I can't really get there in time. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go all the way to Karachi, and I'm just going to sit here for right now. That did take me 4 actions, and my hope is I either draw... my hope is either I draw a red card or something like that happens. So I'm going to draw 2 cards. And I got another black card, but most importantly, I got an epidemic. And this is where the challenge in the game starts to ramp up. The first thing you do with an epidemic, as the card reads, is you increase the infection rate. For the first 3, it's still 2, so that doesn't really make too much of a difference. The next thing we do is there's a new, completely unknown outbreak of the disease. I flip the deck, and Atlanta, of all places, is now infected with the blue virus. And then I take the discard pile, I shuffle it up, and I put it back on top. There are 5 of these in the deck, by the way. So then I flip. Johannesburg gets its 3rd yellow cube. This is now a potential issue. And Bangkok gets a red cube. A red cube. There we go. So, you'll see that the game state changes a lot. And not for the better. Alright. Now, I would have to discard down, because I have 8 cards. And I'm going to go ahead and discard Johannesburg. Just because I want to keep these cards so I can swap things out. And I am in a black city, so I can give the AI a black card, but that wouldn't help him. So I'm going to have the AI draw a 5th card. And they get the red I've needed. So this means, not next turn, but the following turn, I can cure red. I just have to make sure I end my turn in a black city. Actually, the very best thing I could do with this turn... no, I have... There's a couple things I can do. I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I have to be at a research station to cure, and I can cure red next turn. So I draw 2. Or I don't need to trade anything. Thanks, AI. For nothing. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'd have to discard 2 cards. I think I'm going to discard the 2 blues for now. I know that's not great, but I really can't do much about it. And then I flip 2 more cards. Now, Taipei is going to go off at any time now. Chicago gets another blue cube. And Ho Chi Minh City gets another red cube. CDC, they can do some things with me. I really don't see any need to trade cards this turn. So instead, I'm going to have you draw a card. And you got another epidemic, which is, I guess I should have been afraid of that, but I wasn't appropriately. Now, thankfully... Oh, that should have been discarded. Whoops. Istanbul gets 3 black cubes. Now, the good news is... Flip. Nope, I did it again. Now, the good news is I don't infect cities twice. But this means there's ticking time bombs ready, willing, and able to go off as soon as next turn. So having the AI draw was maybe not the best decision, but I had to do it. So the first action... 1, 2, 3, 4. I have cured the first disease in the game. And this sets up a couple of very important things. First of all, curing a disease lets you remove all the cubes from a space as one action. Second, I can now use any future red cards that I might have so that I can basically do whatever it is I need to do. And if you eradicate a disease, it can never come back. That's all wonderful. But I've got blue over here is a big issue. And ironically, the infection deck actually helps because I now know that Taipei can't come up again. So I'm going to take a research flight for 2, and I'm going to remove 2 blue cubes. Thus making sure that Atlanta can't go off, and then in the future, I can try to explore a bit more. I draw 2 cards, I get another red and a black. I'm in a blue city and I have no blue cards, so I can't get this last black card from the AI, which is a pity. No, there's nothing I can do about that, though. So I'm gonna, once I've infected cities, I'm gonna tell the AI to draw another card and hope that they get something else that I can use. Or that they can use. It looks like I made the right call there. And Johannesburg. Well, Johannesburg creates the first outbreak of the game. I knew that might happen, but thankfully, because there's not as many international connection links, there's only 2 places the disease could have spread. This is not the end of the world. It's not a huge deal. So, if I had to have an outbreak, I'm glad it was there. And I now ask the CDC to help me out. I really want that damn black card, but I can't have it because I'm in a blue space. So I'm going to have the CDC draw a 7th card, and it's a yellow card. And we have no yellow card, so this is definitely a thing that we want. But that concludes the AI's turn. Yes, that would be an excellent turn, now that I think about it. I'm going to take Sydney. I'm going to discard it so I can fly. I'm going to go all the way to Sydney. That's 1. 2 for Manila. 3 for Taipei. And then because red has been cured, all 3 cubes get removed as a single action. Now, there is Istanbul. And in hindsight, I probably should have done something about that. Oh well. I draw 2 cards. I get the 4th black card I needed, but I also get another epidemic. We have just been ravaged by epidemics this game. They're all coming right in a row. So Washington, D.C. gets 3 blue cubes. And here's the real problem. Now I draw 3 infection cards every single turn. So I'm not even going to shuffle these, because it's literally these 3 cards again. Which is not great. So first of all, Washington has an outbreak. So normally Miami can't have blue cubes. Here it does. New York, Chicago, and Atlanta. Johannesburg outbreaks again. So this is not great. This is very much not great. And I think this last one is Atlanta. And this is why... now, thankfully, this can't cause any chain reactions because Washington's already outbroke once this turn. But it still spreads blue cubes even farther. So normally what would happen is Atlanta would hit Washington, and then it would instantly cause a second outbreak, which would then spread again. But because Washington already had an outbreak this turn, it can't have two in one turn. That would be too unfair. So that happened. I can cure black next turn for whatever it's worth, but that's it. AI, I'm gonna have you draw a card. It's another yellow, and I'm gonna go ahead and have you discard this red card, because I'm never gonna need it. Alright. Now here's the big problem. I can't get to a research station to cure black, which is unfortunate. And I also don't have a card to build a research station. So the best I can do is try to keep Chicago from blowing up. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. That is my turn. I draw 2 cards. I get a 5th black card. Not that that matters all that much. And now I draw 3 more places to infect. Istanbul instantly causes a chain reaction. Or not a chain reaction, but causes an outbreak. And Istanbul is probably the worst place in the game because it has the most connections. 4, 5, and 6. Bangkok gets its 3rd red cube. Quit trying to add 2 cubes. That's not cool. And finally, Chicago. Well, thank goodness that I cured that disease. I'm going to have the AI draw another card. I have a specific plan in mind. Getting the AI 5 blue cards so they can cure blue. And then it just leaves yellow. And it's another yellow, which is also fine. And you can get rid of Algiers. Alright. So I go to Atlanta. I fall over. So that's 1. 2, I take 1, 2, 3, 4, and I cure black. 3, I discard Istanbul, and I fly there. And 4, I remove all of the cubes because black is cured. Okay. We're only 3 outbreaks away from the game being over, which isn't good. I need to take care of blue at some point, but I have a plan for that later on, if we survive. All I've got to worry about now is surviving until I take another turn. So I draw 2 cards, and I've got a yellow and a red. I flip over Ho Chi Minh City. That's just 1 cube. Could be worse. Buenos Aires gets a cube. And Taipei gets another red cube. Oh, it's actually the first time that that's been infected. That's interesting. Oh, no, I never put those 2 cards... Oh, wow. You've probably been laughing at me this whole time. No, I think I just didn't put those back in the discard pile. I think I'm fine there. Alright, now, CDC. I need you to draw a card. It needs to be a yellow card or a blue card. That is what I need from you. It's a blue card. Fantastic. But here's the thing. That's actually not so fantastic, unless the CDC doesn't have a draw limit. And I really don't want to play the Infection Zone ban right now, but I guess now's not the worst time. So until the CDC goes again, this card is in effect. Which means I don't have to worry about chain reaction outbreaks. That's fine. My turn. Let's see here. I could fly to Miami and start trying to get this mess in North America under control. Or I could go to Ho Chi Minh City, which is also destined to go off. And I think I'm going to do that. God damn it. Put it. There you go. So I do 1 to fly there. 2 to get rid of this stuff. 3... 4. Now, blue is still in very bad shape. But I can only hope that we get a bit of luck in that regard. Or, hey, another epidemic is exactly what I wanted. It's not, but it's happening. Algiers gets 3 black cubes. And guess what? I can't place 3 black cubes. Because there was already 1 there because of Istanbul. So this causes... Let me make sure of this, actually. I need to look at the Infect City stat. Because I don't think it triggers outbreaks if it happens as part of the Infect. Nope, it definitely causes the outbreak. Son of a gun. Friends, I think we're screwed. It's Istanbul. It's Taipei. And it's Bangkok. Well, here's the thing. Red is not really something I'm worried about. We need to get black and we need to get yellow under control. But especially black. And black has been cured. So I'm going to have the AI do something a little different than I've had it do. As much as I would love to have the AI draw a blue card, can I exchange something with it that it would like? Actually, I can. I can get closer to curing yellow by giving it Osaka. Yes. And then you give me a yellow card, and I'm only 1 yellow card away from curing yellow. Because remember, at the end of the day, if I cure all 4 diseases, I don't care how many cubes are on the board. I win the game. So that is a thing I just did. The AI's turn is over, and now I'm going to play Forecast. And this goes away. Forecast lets me look at the top 6 cards from the deck, and I get to put them back in any order. So, Chicago, Buenos Aires, Washington, Ho Chi Minh City, Algiers, and Atlanta. These are the cards that are going to come up at some point in the future. And I'm doing this before my next round, by the way. So, Buenos Aires is not a threat to me Neither is Ho Chi Minh City. But all of the reds and blues are. Sorry, the blues and the black all are. So I'm going to set this up so that we'll get these three. And then these three. There. So here's what this means. As much as I would love to... I need to get blue dealt with. And I don't have a quick way there. But I have one turn as a reprieve, right? I know the blues aren't coming until next turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So that starting next turn, I can start trying to deal with this shit. So that when it blows up, it's not as bad. I get a 4th blue and I get a black. Which is interesting. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, that's perfect. Okay. Settle down, Avi. Let's infect cities first. Alright, Wait, what? Why did I put that card? I didn't put that card on top. No, it was meant to be Buenos Aires, Ho Chi Minh City. Oh, no, yeah, that is... I did pick it that way. That's fine. I can't do anything about that. So Algiers is going to hit another outbreak, and it's going to spread. I can't do anything about that. But here's why I got excited. Sort of excited. So here are these three. Alright, for the CDC action, I'm in a blue city, right? I'm going to give you London, and you're going to give me a yellow card. And I know what cards are going to hit next turn. So, I need to do damage control this turn. I need to buy myself one additional turn, and then I'll win the game. So, okay. 1, remove a cube from Chicago. 2, remove a cube from Atlanta. 3, sorry, so that's 1, 2, 3. Shit. Fuck. I cannot stop Washington from going off. And I'm going to lose the game when I do. 1, 2, 3, 4. If that's the case, I might as well make action 4 because I can't do anything about this. I'm going to cure yellow. I draw 2. You know what would ironically save me? An epidemic. Damn it. Yep. Washington is infected. Another outbreak happens. The game is over. We were so close. If I could have survived that turn, and I don't think there was any way I could have, because I'm pretty sure the next two were Chicago and Atlanta. Oh, I love Pandemic so much, but sometimes this game, it knows. It knows how close you are, and it just stabs you in the gut. Sorry, guys. Earth is doomed. I did my best. But that is a complete playthrough of Pandemic. Um, this is actually a lot of fun. I've never played this solo before, but I kind of like it. I think it's actually pretty clever. And the CDC gives you just enough of an advantage that it's possible to do it with just one character. Yeah, we had it. I needed one more freaking card. If literally any card but Washington had been there. Ugh. I'm so sad. I'm so salty right now. I was literally one card away from winning because I can have the CDC cure disease on its turn if it has 5 cards. Um. Yeah. Fuck. Them's the breaks. We came really close, guys. We really did. But that is it for Pandemic. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's a lovely game, and there's so many varieties of Pandemic. Not just including the 3 expansions, by the way. State of Emergency isn't as good as In the Lab or On the Brink. But, just... There's lots of other variations of Pandemic that are really, really clever. And are really enjoyable games. What we're going to play next week is you guys are going to get a chance to see another co-op game by a different designer. Pandemic, by the way, was designed by Matt Leacock. So if you liked Pandemic, look for him as a designer. A lot of his games have similar mechanics. What we play next week, though, is called Flashpoint Fire Rescue, which is a game about trying to save people in a burning building. And that's a lot of fun, too. But until next time, this has been Avindian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.